5 words. 5 words that stopped an entire arena dead in its tracks. 5 words that made Roman Reigns' jaw tighten, made the crowd go completely silent for 2 full seconds and then absolutely explode. 5 words that may have just cost CM Punk everything heading into the biggest match of his career. I'll bury you next to your father. Welcome back, Wrestling Streams Familia. If you watched Raw this past Monday, you already know what we're talking about. And if you didn't, strap in, because what went down in that ring between CM Punk and Roman Reigns is being called one of the most controversial promo moments in WWE television in years. Because by all accounts, CM Punk didn't just cross a line on Monday night. He obliterated it. And now, Triple H has had enough. Let's set the full scene, because context matters here. We are deep in WrestleMania 42 season. Roman Reigns won the 2026 Royal Rumble, chose to challenge CM Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship, and what we've been getting on the road to WrestleMania has been appointment television. This feud has layers, history, real heat that goes back years. The Shield, the Bloodline, 2 men who are woven into the very DNA of modern WWE. When these 2 get a microphone, the entire wrestling world pays attention. And on the March 2nd edition of Monday Night Raw, they paid attention all right. The promo started the way you'd expect. Punk doing what Punk does, methodical, razor sharp, pulling at every thread of Roman's legacy. He went after the Tribal Chief's 2025 WrestleMania loss. He went after the idea that Roman needed Paul Heyman, needed the Bloodline, needed the whole family machine just to stay relevant. He reminded Roman and the world that before Roman Reigns was the Tribal Chief, before he was main event GUSO's cousin, before he was the guy, CM Punk was already the guy. And Roman knew it. That alone would have been enough. That alone would have been a great promo, a great segment, something to talk about on the way to WrestleMania. But Punk wasn't finished. He looked Roman dead in the eyes and he said it. You went from getting beat at WrestleMania. Now I'm gonna bury you. And you won't be all alone anymore because I'm gonna bury you next to your father. The arena went cold. Roman Reigns didn't say a word. He just stared. And that stare, that silent, burning stare, told you everything. Because Punk wasn't talking about a wrestling match anymore. He was talking about Sika. Sika Anoa'i, WWE Hall of Famer. One of the most decorated tag team specialists in the history of this business. Roman's father. A man whose memory the entire Anoa'i family and the entire wrestling community still hold sacred. The crowd knew it. The boys in the back knew it. And Triple H? Triple H definitely knew it. According to reports coming out of WWE's inner circle, the reaction backstage was immediate. This wasn't a case of edgy promo, move on. Word moved fast. Triple H, as Chief Content Officer, had to address it and address it quickly. Now, understand something about how Paul Levesque runs WWE Creative. He has rebuilt this company on a foundation of respect for the talent, for the product, and yes, for the legacies of the people who built this industry. He wants intensity. He wants emotion. He wants promos that make people feel something real. But invoking the death of a legend? Weaponizing a man's grief over his father on live television? That's a different conversation entirely. Reports indicate Triple H sent a message internally not to silence Punk, not to unravel the WrestleMania feud, but to draw a clear line. There are some things, some people, some memories that do not become ammunition. Not now. Not ever. Sika Anoa'i is one of them. The Anoa'i family represents decades of wrestling heritage. Roman doesn't just carry a belt, he carries a legacy. And when Punk aimed at that legacy, he aimed at something Triple H believes deserves to be protected. And now, there are serious questions being asked about CM Punk's standing heading into WrestleMania 42. Here's where it gets really complicated because nobody can deny that what Punk said worked. It drew a reaction that money can't buy. WWE's own post-show footage of Roman walking backstage stone-faced, barely acknowledging anyone, tells you everything you need to know about how deeply it landed. Roman Reigns, the man who has been the most composed performer in WWE for the better part of a decade, looked genuinely shaken. And that's what makes CM Punk, CM Punk. He finds the pressure point. He finds the nerve. And he presses until something breaks. But there's a reason that kind of ammunition is rare, familia. Former WWE head writer Vince Russo has already come out and said invoking death, invoking burial, invoking loss creates a problem WWE cannot walk back. Punk is supposed to be the babyface. He's the champion the fans are cheering. And when the champion starts saying things that make you wince, that make you think maybe he went too far, the whole dynamic of the feud shifts. Roman doesn't need to say a single word. Roman just needs to stand there and let the crowd turn on Punk all by itself. Which, depending on how Triple H plays this, might be exactly the plan. Because here's the real question, Wrestling Streams Familia, is the heat from this promo organic storytelling gold, or did Punk just hand Roman Reigns the biggest emotional weapon anyone has ever given him walking into WrestleMania? Roman Reigns defending his father's memory. Roman Reigns stepping into that ring at WrestleMania not just for a title but for Sika. You tell me that doesn't make the hair on the back of your neck stand up. You tell me that isn't one of the most powerful WrestleMania motivations we have ever seen. A man who carries a family name, a family legacy, a family loss stepping into the ring against the man who tried to use that loss as a punchline. That is not a wrestling match anymore. That is a war. Triple H now has to be the navigator. He has to steer this ship through waters that are genuinely choppy where real emotion, real loss, and real wrestling storylines have become impossible to separate. That is a balancing act. But if anyone has proven they can pull off that balance, it's the same man who rebuilt this entire company from the ground up and turned it into the global juggernaut it is today. One thing is certain. WrestleMania 42 just got a whole lot more personal. CM Punk opened a door he cannot close. Roman Reigns now has a reason that goes deeper than any title, any rivalry, any storyline WWE has ever written. And Triple H is watching all of it very, very closely. Drop your thoughts in the comments right now. Familia, did Punk go too far? Or was this the greatest piece of mic work we've seen in years? Let's talk about it. And if you're not already part of the Wrestling Streams Familia, hit that subscribe button because we are all in on WrestleMania 42 season, and you do not want to miss a single second of what's coming.